Welcome to Tada Jesus Music Podcast. On this podcast, we talk about the history of Jesus music and the groups that made the music known as Jesus music. On this episode, we'll start in 1973 and go through 1977 with selections and comments about each group. Let's get started. Welcome, I'm glad you could join me today. My name is David Anderson, and I'll be your guide as we travel through the music of the Jesus movement. The year is 1973, and their group Malcolm and Alwyn came out with their album titled Fool's Wisdom. Malcolm and Alwyn were a British folk rock duo and pioneers in the Jesus music movement of the 1970s. The duo featured Malcolm Wilde and Alwyn Wall, who gained attention for their Beatles-inspired harmonies and acoustic-driven songs with lyrics about their Christian faith. Before their conversion to Christianity, Wilde and Wall performed together in a band called the Zodiacs. After their conversion, they became involved in the Jesus music scene. Their talent was noticed by legendary Christian artist Larry Norman, who had taken up residence in England at the time and became a fan. With help from Norman's production team, Malcolm and Alwyn recorded 2 albums in the early 1970s, Fool's Wisdom in 1973 and Wild Wall in 1974. The first selection we're sharing today is titled Say It Like It Is. Enjoy.
Don't dress up my gospel in fancy clothes. Don't gloss up my Jesus for the London shows. He'll take care of himself wherever he goes. You just say it like it is. You say it like it is. You say it like it is. He didn't come to put mysteries within your mind, or even go to college to study for words that rhyme. Man, he would never have even wasted his time. He just said it like it is. He said it like it is. He said it like it is. Don't fix my Jesus in some stained glass frame. Pretend to be trendy just by speaking his name. He won't fit into any superstar game. You just say it like it is. You say it like it is. You say it like it is. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. You just say it like it is. You say it like it is. You say it like it is.
Released in 1973, Fool's Wisdom is widely regarded as a classic of the Jesus music era. The album featured high-quality production for its time, thanks to the session musicians and Larry Norman's team. Notably, the lineup included John Wetton of King Crimson on bass. The album features acoustic-driven folk rock and Beatlesque harmonies. It was praised for its authentic sound and quality songwriting. The lyrics explore the early Jesus movement's themes of evangelism, Christian testimony, and the Second Coming. It presented a complete gospel message with songs like Always on My Mind, which recounts the crucifixion. The second selection from this group we're sharing today is titled Heaven or Hell. Give a listen.
Time will tell, heaven or hell, what it to be. Blind eyes can't see. The fire will burn, never to ease. You've nothing to show, and no one to please. What you are, look what you are, look what you are, look what you are, look what you are, 'cause you won't go far. The great white throne, you're all on your own. Sin and your shame, and you're to blame. You'll gnash on your teeth, you'll weep with your eyes. You've nowhere to turn, however you try. Look what you are, what you are, look what you are, look what you are, look what you are, 'cause you won't go far. The sin in your life, it cuts like a knife, and you're gonna pay whatever you say, but you still the time to put things right, and you've got to do it, so do it tonight. Look what you are, look what you are, what you are, look what you are, look what you are, 'cause you won't go far.
The title track, Fool's Wisdom, was based on the Apostle Paul's words that the things of God are foolishness to the perishing. the song became an anthem for the Jesus movement. Fool's Wisdom gained popularity in both the UK and the US, where it was released by Myrrh Records. It helped establish the duo's reputation and became a highly impactful record within the early contemporary Christian music scene. The last selection we're sharing is titled "The World Needs Jesus." Here we go.
In the midst of a suffering world, heavy with sorrow and grief, oh, what a mess. Like a ship that is sinking to its doom, losing its treasure, oh, where can a young life turn? On an earth that has traveled to the moon, I still see hurtful wrong, and I don't need to look far. Times are coming when you won't have any food, and I know for sure that your money, it don't take you very far. Jesus. There's the Protestants and the Catholics both having themselves a war, and the world looks on and wonders what for. But my Lord, He brings His message so true and so clear. But there's so much confusion, it brings me many times to tears. Oh, the church needs Jesus. It's a sad, sorry sight for the eyes of my Lord to see young people being taken. It hurts me when I see there's so much going wrong, and yet I, in myself, I don't change many things at all.
The duo broke up in 1976. They reunited briefly in 1981 for a live album recorded at Calvary Chapel in Costa Mesa, California. After their musical careers, both men went on to become pastors at Calvary Chapel churches. Malcolm Wild became the senior pastor of Calvary Chapel, Merritt Island in Florida, and Alwyn Wall became the senior pastor of Calvary Chapel, Westminster in London. That was Malcolm and Alwyn with their album titled Fool's Wisdom from 1973. Next, we move to 1974 with Michael Omartian and his album titled White Horse. Michael Omartian is a Grammy-winning artist, producer, and arranger whose 1974 solo debut, White Horse, is considered a landmark in the Jesus music genre. Released in 1974 on Dunhill Records, White Horse stands out in the history of Christian music for its sophisticated musicianship and progressive sound. Omartian's musical career began long before his breakout solo album. He was born in Evanston, Illinois in 1945 and began playing piano at age 4 and drums at 5. In the late 1960s, he helped launch and arrange music for the New Folk, the music outreach group of Campus Crusade for Christ. He also was in Armageddon Experience. The first selection we're sharing today is titled Take Me Down. Here we go.
Take me down to the crystalline water. Take me down and put me under where darkness crashes round like August thunder. Take me down and put me under. He said there's life in what you do, and that's all I ask of you. So put me under. Take me down to the brooks of Cana. Light waits there like a quiet neighbor. Seems like yesterday when I was crying. Take me down and see me dying. He said there's life in what you do, and that's all I ask of you. See me dying. Round and round that cistern altar, time goes down in the flowing water. The past is washed away like weeping ashes. So lift your hands up as it passes. He said there's life in what you do, and that's all I ask of you. Lift your hands up as it passes. I'm not free falling snow on the ground. I can turn back or put on the ground. So take me down.
In the early 1970s, Omartian became a highly sought-after session keyboardist in Los Angeles, playing on albums by top artists like Steely Dan, Billy Joel, and Loggins and Messina. In 1973, he married Stormy Omartian, a lyricist who also provided background vocals on Whitehorse. They also recorded several albums together. The album integrated elements of funk, gospel, progressive rock, and jazz fusion, a rarity in Christian music at the time. Many in the Jesus music scene praised the album for its complex arrangements and production quality, which contrasted with the often watered-down feel of early CCM. Omartian enlisted some of the era's best studio musicians, including guitarist Larry Carlton and Dean Parks, to play on the record. His wife, Stormy, wrote the lyrics. The second selection we're sharing from Michael is titled Jeremiah. Enjoy.
Jeremiah, how your people cry. What's the answer? Don't let it change the way we live or die. No matter where you run, you gotta pay for what you've done. Obadiah, open Edom's eyes. Heaven's fire will soon be laid upon your earthbound lives. Let there be no doubt you're gonna get what you give out. I could set you free, but you must turn back to me. Fill it over and over and over and over again. Tell it over and over and over and over again. Zephaniah, sell your prophecy. Oh, Hananiah, tear down the bed of your idolatry. Hearts that turn to gold will be turned to hearts of stone. I could set you free, but you must turn back to me. Jeremiah, how great your pain must be to have the answer, and yet the people still refuse to see. Let there be no doubt, there is only one way out. I could set you free, but you must turn back to me.
White Horse is widely considered one of the most influential albums of the genre, raising the bar for future Christian artists. AllMusic reviewer Mark Allender called it Omartian's masterpiece. Notable songs from the album include Jeremiah, Take Me Down, and Silverfish. The album was later re-released on Myrrh Records, both as a single album and as a compilation with Omartian's follow-up album, Adam Again. Both re-releases are now out of print. The next selection we're sharing is titled Add Up the Wonders. Give a listen.
Add up the wonders and all of the numbers that people do. So much comes to nothing. They write all their sorrows on a wave of tomorrows just to get them through. Then watch the tide come rushing. But you can lift my spirits high like no one has before. You're not like this world, you're something more. And you have filled my life with joy. There's so much love around you. Your freedom has freed me too. Gather the gladness in a rush hour of madness, sell it all for a dime. Someone will come to buy it. Make a shortcut to living without any giving and wait for a time. Someone will always try it. Choices and the unhappy voices on the telephone line. Another day to work through.
In the 1980s, Omartian reached new heights as a mainstream producer, most notably with Christopher Cross. He won 3 Grammy Awards for his work on Cross's debut album, including Album of the Year. He also co-produced the 1985 charity single We Are the World. Throughout his career, Omartian continued to contribute to Christian music. He produced successful albums for Amy Grant and the Imperials and recorded several solo CCM albums, including Adam Again and Conversations. Omartian's multifaceted career, spanning session musician work, mainstream hits, and his groundbreaking contributions to Christian music, cemented his reputation as an influential figure in the music industry. He has earned multiple Grammy Awards as a keyboardist, songwriter, and producer, with number one records in 3 consecutive decades, 1970s, 1980s, and 1990s. That was Michael Omartian with his album titled White Horse from 1974. Next, from 1974, the second chapter of Acts, with their album titled With Footnotes. Second chapter of Acts was a pioneering Jesus music and early contemporary Christian music group formed in the 1970s by siblings Annie Herring, Nellie Greason, and Matthew Ward. They're best known for their intricate, tight harmonies and for producing timeless Christian anthems like Easter Song. The group's beginnings are rooted in the loss of their parents in the 1970s. Nellie and Matthew moved in with their sister Annie and her husband Buck Herring. Annie, a self-taught musician, and her siblings discovered their voices blended well, leading them to perform in local coffee houses. Early recognition came from Pat Boone, resulting in 2 singles released on MGM Records in the early 1970s. They also worked with Barry Maguire, contributing backing vocals to his album Seeds in 1973 and Lighten Up in 1974. Their debut album, With Footnotes, released in 1974 on the Myrrh label, is considered a significant album in Jesus music and established their reputation. The first selection from this group we're sharing today is titled Love, Peace, Joy. Give a listen.
Love, peace, joy.
The album features their well-known song, Easter Song, which was highly successful and recognized by CCM magazine as a top Christian song. Working with top session musicians including Michael Omartian, Joe Osborne, John Gurin, and Jim Gordon, contributed to the album's quality. The album combined the group's harmonies with piano-driven musical styles, rock and folk, influencing other artists in the genre. The group toured widely and released several albums. Notable collaborations include live albums with Barry McGuire, To the Bride in 1975, and Phil Keaggy, How the West Was Won in 1977. The second selection we're sharing today is titled The Devil's Lost Again. Enjoy. The Roar of Love, a concept album based on C.S. Lewis's The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, was released in 1980. The album also featured Kerry Livgren, known from the secular band Kansas, where he played lead guitar. He had recently become a Christian and started writing about his faith in his music. The last selection from this group we're sharing today is titled With Jesus. Here we go.
His own.
Other albums include the best-selling Hymns from 1986, which received a Dove Award. After 16 years, the group retired in 1988. Second Chapter of Acts was inducted into the Gospel Music Hall of Fame in 1999. Both Matthew Ward and his sister Annie Herring also went on to record solo albums in the following years. With Footnotes, the 1974 debut album by the Second Chapter of Acts on Myrrh Records, is considered an important contribution in contemporary Christian music history. That was the Second Chapter of Acts with their album titled With Footnotes from 1974. Next we move to 1977 with Mike Johnson and his album titled More Than Just an Act. Mike Johnson was a pioneer of the Christian music movement who released the 1977 album More Than Just an Act through New Pax Records. A former blues musician, Johnson converted to Christianity and began producing early Christian rock music, both as a solo artist and with his band, The Excursions. Johnson was born in Chicago and during a troubled adolescence dropped out of school. He later played guitar for blues musician Paul Butterfield. Johnson's life was changed after an encounter with the Christian Ministry Teen Challenge, and he committed his life to Christ. The first selection we're sharing today is titled Life is More. Enjoy.
Peace.
During the 1970s, Johnson became a notable figure in the growing Jesus music movement. He formed the band The Excursions, which produced some of the first heavy Christian rock. The album More Than an Act was released in October of 1977 on New Pax Records. It was a studio album recorded on a 12-inch 33 1/3 vinyl record. The music featured a blend of Christian, gospel, religious, pop, and rock styles. Johnson also released several influential solo albums during this time, including The Artist / The Riddle in 1976. He also collaborated with Randy Matthews and Danny Taylor on the album Matthews, Taylor, and Johnson. Also in 1973, he sang on a musical titled Because I Am with Greg Voltz. The second selection we're sharing today is titled Listen. Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, step right up, step right up. This is really living. This is really fun. And best of all, it won't cost you a thing. hopelessness and the Ferris wheel life. The ride's Indian disaster and the barker is a liar. The cool sweet rides of pleasures are really
burning wine. Listen to parents. You got to love your children. Parents, don't you provoke your children and your children. Obey your parents, for this is right. It's a two-way street now. Don't you be fooled by the kind of old wax and you dig it.
In 1978, Johnson became the first artist to perform for Compassion International, a ministry that helps children in need. He helped develop the in-concert sponsorship model that has since been used to raise hundreds of thousands of sponsorships. The last selection from Mike is titled Once Again. Give a listen.
Here I am once again. I know that I should pray, but I've got such a whirling mind. I don't know what to say. Sometimes my thoughts will drift and I get off the track, touching down on senseless things until you bring me back. Sometimes I rush off before I've heard enough, but all day long you speak your simple words of truth. Through great events and lessons learned and simple acts of love, you clear my thoughts and I feel you say I love you. I've always wondered to myself if others were like me, struggle with their wandering thoughts, sometimes painfully. Some bills are due. Do I love my work? The simple cares of life. Am I really successful, Lord? Do I show enough love to my wife? And sometimes I rush off before I've heard enough, but all day long you speak your simple words of truth. Through great events and lessons learned and simple acts of love, you clear my thoughts and I feel you say I love you. There are times when I wait, my life is filled again, shutting out those random thoughts, a quiet peace within. But even then I can't rush off before I've heard enough, but all day long you speak your simple words of truth. hear my thoughts and I feel you say, I love you.
Johnson passed away in his Nashville home on February 9th of 2013 from a heart attack. That was Mike Johnson with his album titled More Than an Act from 1977. Well, that's all the time we have for today's podcast. I hope you enjoyed our journey as we explored the different groups from the Jesus movement. Please join us again for the next episode as we dive more into the music we call Jesus music. Also, if you've enjoyed and appreciated this podcast, please like and subscribe and give us a 5-star review and tell other friends you know about our podcast. God bless, and we'll see you next time on Tada Jesus Music Podcast. This has been a Tada Music production.